Hi everyone, my name is Monique.
And I'm Naveen from Before You Play.
And today we have another playthrough for you. This time it is for a game that is coming to Kickstarter called React: The Arts of War.
This game is designed by Chris Lin and published by Brother Ming Games, who are helping sponsor this playthrough. And essentially in this game, Monique and I are going to be playing cards, trying to duel it out to become victorious.
That's right, this is a 1v1 dueling game in which we take on the role as one of 8 different asymmetric artists that come in the game.
Yep.
Some of them utilize a deck of cards, some not, but in the end, we're just trying to deal 3 damage to our opponent. Like I was mentioning, the game comes with 8 different characters, and it also features a unique React chain of sorts, in which we're going to be describing how to play today.
Yep.
And so as per usual, we're going to start with a teach of the game, and then go straight into our 2-player playthrough. If you're interested in jumping around, we'll include timestamps in the description below.
Now we do have to mention this is a prototype copy of the game, so things are subject to change in the future. If you are interested in the campaign, there's a link to the pre-launch, which is down below in the description. The campaign is set to launch on the 29th of this month. Lastly, if you like these kind of videos and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing.
And with that, we are ready to begin. So, if you please direct your attention to the center of the table, we're all set up here for our 2-player game of React: The Arts of War.
Yes.
Welcome to the battlefield.
That's it.
As you can see, we each already have our main characters, also known as our entrants, all fully set up on the battlefield. And in addition to our main characters, we each also have our summon standees, which are going to help us move around the board and attack our opponents to try to defeat them and win the game.
Sure.
Now, the object of the game is simple. We're just trying to deal 3 damage to our opponent. And so the way in which we go about doing this is by playing cards from our hand. And so not all characters utilize a deck of cards, but the 2 characters that we're going to be using today, the calligrapher and the dancer, both do. And so our deck of cards are comprised of 2 main types of cards. We have blue intentions, which are sort of like main actions, and we have red reactions. And these are going to always be played in reaction to an intention card, if that makes sense. And so on your turn, you can play as many intention cards as you'd like. And so they're going to do various things depending on the character that you play as. Since I'm the calligrapher, my actions are all going to be built around placing ink tokens on my character standees, summoning more of my seal brush spirits, because these are going to be the main characters who deal damage to my opponent.
Right.
And so say it's my turn and I'd like to play an intention card. Intention cards always get played to the first card in the react chain. And so after I play a card, now my opponent will have the ability to either play a reaction card or pass.
Yeah, so for example, I could play this card here.
That's right. And we'll go over what these cards do before we start our playthrough. Now that Naveen has played a reaction card, it goes back to me, and I can also choose to play a reaction card, even though I started the entire chain. And so maybe I'll play Flowing Ink. Now, some of these cards have a requirement that you need to do in order to play the card. So for example, for my Flowing Ink, this card is going to allow me to move certain standees in one direction. And so when playing this card, it says I must first choose a direction. So then I could use this token to indicate which direction I'm going to resolve that action in. And now that I've played my reaction card, then it would go back to Naveen, who would then be able to play another one or pass. And we basically keep on doing this until either both of us have passed or until the react chain is completely full with 5 cards total. Then at that point, we would resolve the entire chain. But the way that the chain resolves is starting with the 5th card all the way down to the 1st, which means my main action, my intention card here, is going to resolve last. So think of it as a sort of like an action sequence where I'm going to throw a punch, but before my punch lands, Naveen gets to do all these other things to try to evade the punch, right?
Exactly. So I can see your intention ahead of time and then react to it kind of in a timeline that kind of works backwards.
That's right. It's sort of like a dance sequence.
That's right.
Now, there are going to be a lot of moments in the game, especially towards the beginning, where you might not play a reaction card at all.
Sure.
And so that's just kind of an example of how the react chain works, because this is a very large part of the game. Now, in addition to the cards that we'll have in our hand, we also have reference cards. And reference cards typically control our standees, such as our main characters and our summons. The difference is that our reference cards are always kept in front of us. When we play them to the react chain, after resolving them, they go back in front of us to be able to use again. Whereas the other cards in our hand will get discarded after they're resolved. Now, the other difference, though, is that reference cards usually require you to exhaust the standee in which it is acting upon. So say, for example, on a future turn, had I started with my purple Seal Brush Spirit reference card, this would require me to exhaust the standee. And so on a future turn, I now would not be able to play this because the standee is already exhausted.
You can only exhaust once per turn.
That's right. I can still move the standee using other cards. I just can't play a card that would require it to exhaust it. The other thing is some reference cards actually give you an option between 2 different types of actions. When playing these cards, you must always indicate which of the two actions you're going to be taking by pointing at it with the token.
Sure.
And specifically our main character reference card, these cards have the ability to become more advanced by flipping it over to its ascended side. And the way in which you can do this is by completing your masterpiece. So this is sort of like another mini game aspect to the game. Starting with the second turn onwards, at the start of each player's turn, they will have the ability to progress their masterpiece. And so the way that that works is our masterpieces are split into 3 parts. When you progress your masterpiece, you basically choose one of the 3 parts and you place it on the right side of the board. As soon as you're able to completely complete your masterpiece by having all 3 pieces in their proper spaces on this side of the board, then your main character ascends and your reference card gets flipped over to the other side, either giving you a more powerful action or giving you a passive ability such as with Naveen's Dancer. Now, it's not that simple because you can only progress your masterpiece on your turn. And so we're going to be going back and forth, basically blocking each other off just like this. And so if on your turn, there are no more spaces available because there are only 5 available spots and there are 6 total masterpiece cards here, you can replace one of your opponent's pieces with one of your own. And if all of your pieces are already in this area, but they're just not in the correct locations, then you can always swap 2 spaces with each other. And we'll definitely be demonstrating this as we play the game. The last thing are these masterpiece cards are double-sided with a non-colored version on the opposite side because this is actually how we keep track of the score. Every time you damage your opponent, you're going to flip over one of their 3 pieces over here to the non-colored side. And as soon as all 3 pieces are completely flipped over, then they lose the game, essentially.
Yeah, you can still place out the masterpiece as a grayed out version of itself. It's just a way to keep track of your health.
That's right. These masterpiece cards are always going to function the way that we described, regardless of which side the piece is on. And as soon as you cannot or don't want to play any more blue intention cards from your hand, then you would end your turn by unexhausting all of the standees on the board. And that's essentially it. At the start of each player's turn, each player also gets to draw a card. There's a hand limit of 6 cards in your hand, but that's essentially how you play the game. As soon as somebody is damaged 3 times, then that player loses immediately. And so as you can see, the game structure is fairly simple. Most of the strategy is going to come into play in terms of the asymmetry in the characters, as well as the specific cards that you have in your hand. All right, so shall we introduce our characters?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so today I'm going to be playing as the calligrapher. And so my character has to do a lot with inking standees because I'm a calligrapher.
Yep.
And so something we didn't mention is that our decks are only comprised of the same 4 cards over and over again. There are 2 different types of reaction cards and 2 different intentions. And so my 2 intentions are going to be Sheathing Respite and Summoning Ink. Summoning Ink allows me to ink any standee, because like I said, I'm going to be placing ink tokens on different standees around the board. But in addition to that, it'll also allow me to summon a Steel Brush Spirit adjacent to me or another inked Steel Brush Spirit. And so these Steel Brush Spirits are going to be the main ways in which I deal damage to Naveen. They're going to be very, very important. Summons, by the way, act pretty much the same way. If they ever take a damage, they just get removed from the board. It doesn't affect your score in any way, and you can still re-summon them in the future. My other intention, my Sheathing Respite, in addition to allowing me to ink any standee, I can remove 3 ink from a standee to draw 2 cards. Because drawing cards in this game is a little bit limited. You only get to draw 1 card per turn. But this way, I get to draw 2 cards on my turn. But if I utilize this intention, I must end my turn immediately after resolving the card. My reaction cards, on the other hand, they both allow me to ink any standee. My Flowing Ink, though, allows me to move all inked standees 1 space in a direction of my choosing. And so this can be very powerful when reacting to an attack, essentially.
Yeah, that's right.
My other one, Aligning Ink, will allow me to remove 2 ink from a standee to exhaust it, which could be useful against Naveen, or I can remove 3 ink to refresh it. So that can be useful for me if I want to attack twice using the same standee in 1 turn. And of course, I also have my reference cards. All 4 of my Steel Brush Spirit reference cards work the same way. They give me 2 options for actions. I can either just move 1 space, or if the Steel Brush standee is inked, meaning I have at least 1 ink token on it, this will allow me to deal 1 damage to the target zone. So upon playing this card, I have to choose an adjacent zone to target. And so, like I said, all 4 of these work the same way. My calligrapher reference card, before it becomes ascended, I have 2 options. I can either ink every single standee on the board, including Naveen's, or I can progress my masterpiece and then summon a Sealbrush spirit in an adjacent zone. So all of our reference cards, all the different characters' reference cards allow you to progress your masterpiece as one of the intention options.
Right.
As soon as I complete my masterpiece and my calligrapher becomes ascended, then I have a very powerful reaction that allows me to deal 1 damage using all of my inked Sealbrush spirits that are on the board to their adjacent zones. Afterwards, I remove them all from the board. So it can be really, really powerful in dealing that last bit of damage.
It could be the devastating blow, for sure.
Yes, it can be quite devastating. And so that is essentially how the calligrapher works. And as you can see, I start the game with one of my Sealbrush spirits already on the board.
So me as the dancer, I'm actually quite mobile. I'm going to be using my cards to allow me to get around the board. And I want to place out these scale tokens. Because as I accumulate these scale tokens, this will allow me to put out my other standees, which can help me deal damage in the future once I ascend.
That's right. You have dancing fish.
I have dancing fish.
And
they all act in the same way, yeah, and they basically can help protect me from damage by kind of creating a barrier, or they can also dish out damage once I'm ascended. And so I have these 2 intentions. I have diving step and calling step, and these basically allow me to kind of move throughout the different rows and columns where my standee is. And as I move, whether I move myself or I'm passively moved on another player's turn, I'm going to be laying out these scale tokens. So if I started here and let's say I moved all the way to this location here, I basically drop off a scale token into all the different spaces which I was in to start, as well as pass through. So in this case, I would drop out 2 scale tokens.
Yeah, because Naveen's dancer jumps around the board. They don't just move.
Right. If ever there are 3 scale tokens in a zone, immediately I remove those 3 scale tokens and get to place out one of my 3 dancing fish. And if any of my opponent's standees happen to be in that zone where I place that 3rd scale token, immediately that standee takes the damage.
That's right. And so if it's a summon standee, this will get removed. If it's my own character, I will take a damage.
Yeah, one of the 3.
Not good.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of me manipulating kind of where I am, placing out these scale tokens and trying to like set traps so that I can cause damage.
Right.
I also have these 2 red reaction cards. I have Pivoting Step and Converging Step. Pivoting Step is nice. It allows me to swap an adjacent standee up to 3 consecutive times with my character. So I can kind of spin around the board almost like we're swapping partners in a dance.
Right.
And as I do that, because I'm moving, I'm also laying out these scale tokens like I mentioned earlier. Converging Step allows me to remove up to 3 scale tokens anywhere on the board. If I remove 3 scale tokens, I'm allowed to now place out one of my standees into one of those 3 zones that I removed one of those scale tokens. So this is another way I can get these standees out on the board.
Right, because otherwise you would have to wait until one zone accumulated 3 of these tokens. But this way you can kind of pick and choose where they come from.
Exactly. So if I had 3 scales in this location, I can pick 1, 2, 3, and then choose one of those 3 to be the location where this dancing fish goes into. The dancer reference card allows me to take one of 2 different types of intentions. The first one allows me to jump 1 space in any direction and then jump another space in a direction without backtracking. So this allows me again to get out of harm's way or lay out more scales so that I can do more things.
Right.
The bottom one right here allows me, once again, like Monique's, to progress or advance the masterpiece. And then I get to jump 1 space in any direction, again, laying out scales. So
yes, you are quite mobile.
Mobile, yes.
That's nice.
Exactly. As soon as I ascend by completing my masterpiece, I flip over the dancer, and immediately, as a passive thing, when I ascend, I gain 3 frenzy tokens and then descend me. Now, these frenzy tokens are going to be very useful when I have my dancing fish out there, because the reference card for the dancing fish essentially say I get to jump 1 space in the chosen direction, and then I may spend 1 frenzy token to deal 1 damage to an adjacent zone. So I'd love for these to be really close to your calligrapher standee piece, and then I can start dishing out some damage.
Right. So before Naveen ascends by completing his masterpiece, the only true way to deal damage is by collecting 3 scale tokens in one zone.
And forcing you to go into those zones.
Right. But as soon as he ascends, now his dancing fish become quite dangerous. And so that's another difference between both of our reference cards. When I ascend, my reference card gets flipped over until I utilize it for the reaction. Then it gets flipped over again. And then I have to reascend if I want to use that. Naveen's flips over immediately.
Right.
He gains the frenzy tokens and then he descends.
That's it.
One thing to note is that these frenzy tokens that we're using are not going to be in the final copy of the game. This is a prototype, so it didn't come with the frenzy tokens. Just keep that in mind. Otherwise, I think that's everything that we need to know in order to get started.
Yep.
Are you ready to begin?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we need to see who is going to go first.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Oh,
You.
that's it. It's me.
You.
I'm first, which means I do not
Quick
get
with it.
to progress my masterpiece first,
Right.
unfortunately, since that starts on the second turn.
Mm-hmm.
But we have our hand of 4 cards each, because
Okay.
that's what we start the game with. And I think we're ready to begin.
it.
Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. So first things first, we each get to draw a card from our deck. So, and again, you are drawing a card every turn. So even if it's Naveen's turn, I will get to draw a card.
With a max 6 cards in hand.
Right. Now I get to play an intention card to the react chain. So what do we want to do first? I'm going to start by playing a summoning ink intention. And so this is going to allow me to ink any standee and then summon a seal brush spirit, either adjacent to me or an inked seal brush spirit.
Sure.
Now it goes to you. Would you like to react?
I will not react to this.
Okay, so now it goes back to me. I'm going to pass as well, which
Okay.
means
Real
this is going to
simple.
resolve. Real simple, real easy. So first, I get to ink any standee. And so I think I'm just going to get this started, and I'm going to ink this standee right here.
Sure.
Then I get to summon a seal brush spirit adjacent to me or this seal brush spirit now that it is inked. So I think I'm going to summon this green one over here. So, and that's it. This card is now fully resolved and it gets discarded.
Sure.
So now I can continue playing intention cards if I'd like.
Okay. Would you like to?
Yes. I think I'm going to play my reference card. So I'm
Okay.
going to play my purple seal brush spirit reference card, intention, and I'm going to play it for the top action, which just allows it to move 1 space. In order to play this card, I have to exhaust the seal brush spirit. So I'm just
Sure.
going to go ahead and turn it just like that. Now it's exhausted. Naveen, would you like to react?
I will not be reacting.
Perfect. Neither will I. So we're going to go ahead and resolve this, and I'm just going to move it 1 space. So movement, by the way, is just in orthogonal direction. You cannot move diagonally. Now that this is resolved, this is a reference card. So it goes back in front of me to be able to use again when that spirit's no longer exhausted. And then I may as well play my calligrapher reference card. And again, this has 2 different actions. I'm going to play it for the bottom intention, which lets me progress my masterpiece since I didn't get to do that on my turn. And then in addition, summon another seal brush spirit. So I do have to exhaust my calligrapher though to use that card.
Okay.
Naveen, would you like to react?
I will not be reacting.
Perfect. I'm going to progress my masterpiece. I think I'm going to place this middle piece right here.
Okay.
And then I am going to summon my yellow seal brush spirit right there. So that's it for this. I had to summon it in an adjacent zone. So that's why I summoned it right there. So this will go back in front of me.
Okay.
You know what? Let's just go full-blown protection because this is the first turn of the game.
Sure.
And it might be a good idea for the future. I'm going to play another intention. This is summoning ink. It's the same one that I played earlier that allows me to ink a standee and then summon my last seal brush spirit. Naveen, are you reacting?
I will not be reacting.
Perfect. Let's do it. I'm going to ink this standee and summon my last seal brush spirit. Well, actually, I can summon it adjacent to an inked seal brush spirit. So I guess I'll summon it there.
Okay.
Let's just get real close. And this gets discarded. I think I'm going to play one last intention, and it's going to be my other one, Sheathing Respite.
Okay.
So this will allow me to ink a standee and then remove 3 ink from a standee to draw 2 cards. That will end my turn, though.
Mm-hmm.
Are you reacting?
No.
Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and place that 3rd ink on this purple seal brush spirit, and then I have to remove all 3 ink from their standee to draw 2 cards. Now I have some more cards in my hand for the next turn.
Another way to lose in this game, by the way, is if you have no more cards.
That's right. I didn't mention that.
So Monique
and
is
I have to
working towards that.
have to be cautious. But that's that. That is now the end of my turn since this card ended my turn. Now I'm going to unexhaust all of my exhausted standees.
You did have the right to use those newly acquired seal brush spirits, but you're choosing not to, correct?
I didn't have the right. I had to end my turn.
Okay,
because
that's right.
Sheathing Respite says if you
I
use
guess
this
before
effect,
that you could have, yeah.
yeah, if you use this effect to draw, I immediately end my turn.
Perfect.
So I should have moved my seal brush spirits, but I did not.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna leave it at that, and now it goes to Naveen. And you know what? Before we truly pass on the turn, I'm just gonna move my masterpiece card into this space just for clarity. Actually, I meant to put my masterpiece in the middle spot. There's a slight typo on these mats. This last line is not supposed to be here because there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So now it is to you.
Back to me. Okay, I'm going to start my turn by progressing my masterpiece. This is the first time you get to do it on the second player's turn. So
Which one would you like?
I'm going to take the middle one.
This one?
And I'm going to put the middle on top of your middle.
Right here.
Just a little blockage.
Blocking me out.
Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead and draw a card.
Yep. Okay, so I'm at my max 6.
I have 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to play your intentions.
I do. Okay, so I am going to be the dancer. So I'm going to play my intention, and I'm going to indicate the bottom one here, which says, I progress my masterpiece. I jump 1 space in any direction.
Okay, I'm gonna pass.
You're saying no?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and progress the masterpiece. I'd like the left side.
This one here?
Yeah, so then now I'm 2/3 of the way there complete.
Perfect.
The art is lining up.
Right.
This is a problem. All right, so that's done. So the dancer is exhausted. I should have done that right when I played them.
Yes.
And then now this goes back.
Whoa, you're not done.
Oh,
So it lets you progress your masterpiece.
Actually do what I need to do. Yeah.
And jump
And jump.
1 space in any direction.
Correct. So we're going to jump this way.
Okay.
Because I moved, I get to drop off one of my scale tokens right in that spot where I was before.
Perfect.
Okay, so now this comes out. And I'm going to continue on. I'm going to keep playing.
So that was your reference card.
That was my reference card. Yep. Okay, next I'm going to be playing Calling Step. That is my intention.
Okay.
All right. And it says a standee in my row or column jumps 1 space towards me.
Ooh.
I then jump 1 space in any direction.
All right. So the only standee in your row or column is this one, which
Mm-hmm.
means you're going to bring this closer to you.
Correct.
Okay, I pass.
Pass. Okay, perfect. So you are going to come 1 step towards me.
Okay.
I'm going to now jump 1 space in any direction. I would like to jump, I believe I'm going to jump here.
Okay.
I'm going to drop off a
scale.
right there.
Oh, you're getting closer.
A little closer.
All right, so that card gets discarded.
Discarded. So I'll just go ahead and make a discard pile. Oh, you have yours there. I'll go over there.
Perfect. What are you doing, Naveen?
Well, I'm trying to get these things out here so I can create a little bit of barrier. You have a lot of attack power if they can become inked, and that's a problem.
Okay.
So the next intention is diving step. It says, I move to any zone in my row or column.
Interesting. Okay. I guess let's just see where you're going to go. I'm going to pass.
Pass. Okay, I will also pass.
Okay.
So let's go ahead, and I'm going to move all the way here.
Right, because whenever the dancer moves, the dancer jumps.
Jumps. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and now 4.
Because they jump from here, right?
From there, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So now I have a lot of scales out.
It's a lot of scales.
It is. So this gets now discarded.
Okay.
Into my discard pile.
Anything else, Naveen?
Possibly. Okay, the next intention I'm going to play is Calling Step.
Okay.
So this is the one that I played initially at the very beginning of the game. So this is the one where a standee in my row or column jumps 1 space towards me.
Interesting.
I then jump 1 space in any direction.
Okay, so knowing that, you can either move this 1 space towards you, or you can move me over you, essentially.
Yep.
I'm going to pass.
You're going to pass.
I'm passing.
Okay.
Are you going to react? You can react to your own intention.
I think I will. I'm going to react by
Uh-oh.
playing a pivoting step. So this one says I swap with an adjacent standee up to 3 consecutive times. I cannot swap with the same standee twice.
What are you going to do?
So we're going to be dancing.
I think you're going to be moving around. I'm going to pass.
You're going to pass. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will also pass. So now we're going to resolve from top to bottom.
Okay.
So we're going to do 2 first and then 1.
Yeah.
So I'm going to swap.
That's 1.
Okay. And then we lay out scales where I was previously. So that's 1. We're going to swap 2. We're going to lay out another scale. And then we're going to swap 3. Just like
laying out
this.
scales all over the place.
Scales are all over the place. Yeah, exactly. So because in the future I can try to like pluck them up and then place some of these out. So
very
it's kind of nice to see that happen. So this resolves, so it's going to be discarded.
Okay.
And then now we're going to do Calling Step.
I don't like how you're moving me around so much.
Yeah, I'm going to toss you back this way.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to jump 1 space in any direction. I'm going to move this way, and then I'm going to drop off a scale.
All right.
There we go. So it's going to be this one. It's going to get trashed. And then
there are a lot of scales.
Yeah.
All over
They're
the
everywhere.
board.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Okay, so that is going to be it for my turn. I'm done.
You're ending your turn?
That's my turn.
Perfect. Okay, so then go ahead and unexhaust your standee.
Right.
And now it goes to me, and I get to start my turn by advancing or progressing my masterpiece. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to place this one over here. So all I have to do is get that third one out, and then I will be in business.
You got to swap it, though.
I do, but maybe I won't progress until later. We'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Sure.
Okay, so let's go ahead and draw a card.
Okay.
So now I'm at 6 cards. It's in my best interest to probably play a lot of these. We'll see what kind of magic we can make.
Sure.
And I just realized that this is not my discard. I was like, where is my calligrapher? There it is. All right, well, I'm going to start by playing my calligrapher reference card.
Okay.
So I'm going to play it for the top intention because I actually don't want to progress my masterpiece.
Okay.
This is going to allow me to ink every single standee on the board, including my opponents. So I do have to exhaust my calligrapher to play this.
Sure.
So now it goes back to you, Naveen. Are you going to react?
Yes, I will react.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to play Converging Step. This one allows me to remove 3 scales on the board and place out one of my dancing fish.
Okay.
And in order to play this card, it says I have to target one zone that has a scale. So I'm going to have to place this out. I'm going to put it somewhere where I know I'm not going to get blocked out of playing this card. I'm going to place it here.
Okay.
So I'm going to be saying that this is the zone where that fish is going to come into.
Right, that makes sense. And you cannot target a zone. I suppose you can target a zone that has a standee in it, but the summon would fail, essentially.
Exactly. That's why I don't want to place it out here and here, because you have all those cards and you can probably just move somebody in, not allowing me to summon.
Okay, well, I'm going to react to that. I'm going to play Flowing Ink. So this lets me ink any standee, and then all inked standees have to move in the direction of my choosing. And so I'm going to choose this direction, just like that.
Sounds good.
So now it goes back to you, Naveen. Are you going to react?
I will not react to that.
Well, I too will pass.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and resolve this chain.
Sure.
So starting with Flowing Ink, I'm going to ink you. I'm inking the dancer.
Sure.
And now it says move all inked standees in this direction. The only standee that's currently inked is yours.
Sure.
So it's going to move you into place right there.
That was a passive move, so I get to place out a scale.
That's right. And then this gets discarded.
Okay.
So now it goes to yours.
Yeah, so I get to remove up to 3 of these. So I'm going to go
You have to move 3 of them total.
Correct.
Right.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And now let's just go ahead and just get my yellow dancing fish
Oh,
out
the
here.
yellow one. Cute.
They all act the same exact way. I just want my yellow one out there.
Perfect.
All right, and let's go ahead and discard this card. And before I forget, let's just get this 2 back here because we're going to be looking for it later.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I am going to resolve this card, and this just lets me ink everything. So how many things do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you can help me here, 2, 3, 4. Here's 4.
Okay, I'll get the ones on the
5,
back
6,
end
7.
here. So
Okay,
I'll
so I
ink
inked your
myself.
fish, my green silver spirit, and my
3
calligrapher.
and 4.
Perfect.
Looks like ink out there.
All right, so I get my reference card back, and then let's see if we can make a move.
You're gonna make a move?
Look at this. Look at this position. So then I'm going to play my seal brush spirit intention, the purple one, which is this one.
Okay.
And I'm playing it for its bottom intention, which
Okay.
says if I am inked, I deal 1 damage to the target zone. So
Okay.
in order to play this card, I have to exhaust my seal brush spirit and target an adjacent zone. So I'm targeting this one. So now it's Naveen's turn. The thing about targeting an adjacent zone is if somehow Naveen were to react and were to get one of my characters into that zone, if I'm inked, I have to attack myself. So this is kind of your chance to try to get out of that situation.
Sure. Pivoting step.
Oh boy, he had a pivoting step.
Pivoting
step is quite a strong reaction for the dancer.
Sure.
Unfortunately, you had one in your hand. Okay, well, considering I now know what Naveen is going to do, I'm going to react.
Okay.
And I'm going to play Aligning Ink.
Okay.
So that lets me ink a standee and then remove ink to either refresh it or exhaust it.
Okay.
So back to you, Naveen.
I will pass.
You're going to pass? Okay, I'm going to react again.
Okay.
And I'm going to play another one of these Aligning Inks because I need to get a lot of ink on this seal brush spirit if I want it to avoid injury.
Sure.
So it goes back to you?
I'll pass.
Okay, I will also pass.
Okay.
Let's resolve this chain. So the first one is my Aligning Ink, which I'm totally wasting. I get to ink any standee, so it's going to be this one.
Okay.
And then I can remove 2 ink from it to exhaust it, but it's already exhausted, so I can't do that. So that's it. I'm going to go ahead and discard this.
Okay.
And now it goes to my next Aligning Ink, which lets me do the same thing. But now that I have 3 inks on this standee, I can remove 3 of them to refresh it, which means it's no longer going to attack this spot. And I can still play this card again this turn. So I'm going to go ahead and discard
Okay,
it.
that says if I am inked. So
Right.
you basically uninked it.
Yes,
By doing all that.
I went through all that trouble just to remove the ink, the 1 ink that was on it.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't want to. I have this huge force on the board right now. I wanted to keep it that way.
Sure.
All right, Naveen, go ahead and do your pivoting step.
All right, pivoting step. Knowing that.
Yeah. And these are not optional. By
yeah.
the way, if you play a card to the chain, you have to
You
resolve
have to
it.
resolve it, yeah. So, okay, so let's go ahead and we'll go 1.
Okay. If
So-
you want to hand me your skills, I'll go ahead and plop them
Sure.
down for you.
It's going to happen 3 times. So it's
So
going to
that's
be 1.
1.
We're going to go 2.
Okay, so that's your second skill.
And we're going to tuck ourselves kind of away.
Over there. Oh, I cannot believe I let you get away. I let you run away.
See you later.
Okay.
Mhm.
So this, just in case you're wondering, Naveen
There's
has
2 there. Yeah.
2 inks. We'll try to keep the ink on the same side
To
of
a
the
minimum.
standee. And then the scales get placed in the zone. They don't actually belong to the standees.
Right.
So I'm just going to stack them so that we know exactly how many there are.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
All right, so that's that card.
Very good. All right, so then I go ahead and resolve this, and I said the bottom ability,
Correct.
but I am no longer inked, which means I don't deal damage to this zone any longer.
Mhm.
So this just kind of doesn't activate.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Okay.
Very good. You avoided me.
I did.
So then it goes back to me, and now I am down a few cards, which is not ideal.
Mhm.
For my next intention, I'm going to play my yellow Steel Brush Spirit card,
Okay.
and I'm playing it for the top intention, which allows it to move 1 space. So I'm just gonna go ahead and exhaust it. Naveen, are you gonna react?
I will not react.
Okay, perfect. So I am gonna react. I'm gonna play Flowing Ink. So I have to choose a direction, and then it's gonna move everybody 1 space in that direction. Now that everyone's inked.
Sure.
Reacting?
No.
All right, I am going to pass as well. So let's go ahead and resolve this chain.
Sure.
So I ink any one standee. Ooh, who do I want to ink?
Well, they're basically all inked except this one right here.
Okay, you convinced me.
Yep.
I'm going to ink that Silver Spirit.
Sure.
And then I move all inked standees 1 space that way.
So get my fish closer to
So-
the action.
Yes, but it also moves my green Silver Spirit towards you. And
Uh-oh.
since all of these standees are blocked, they stay in place. They cannot move 1 space that way.
Sure.
So that's it for this. And that's a simultaneous movement, by the way.
Okay.
And then finally, my yellow Steel Brush Spirit is going to move 1 space, and the only space it can move in is this way.
Mhm.
So that's it for that. So that goes back in front of me. And then I think I have to try and do this now. My green Steel Brush Spirit, I'm going to play it for the bottom ability, which says if I'm inked, I deal 1 damage to the target zone, which just happens to be that zone.
Interesting.
The zone the dancer is in. Naveen, are you going to react?
I am.
Oh.
Pivoting step.
Oh, the pivoting step.
Monique.
Gosh, all of my tools in my tool belt, I'm passing.
Good.
So, I mean, you can react
I
again?
have no cards, but
All right.
I am also passing. The good thing is though, you are inked, and I'm going to pivoting step you. You said you're targeting the zone, right?
Yeah.
Let's just target your main standee, your mains.
Oh, no.
So that's 1.
Oh,
There.
no.
Let's go 2. Now, because I'm leaving this zone, there's 3 here,
Yeah.
right? So 3, this now would have...
So order of operations. Go ahead and switch places.
Okay,
Swap place. So
Swap.
you would swap the place
okay.
with my standee.
Mhm.
And because Naveen left this zone and the zone already had 2 scales in it, it gains a 3rd, which means it immediately creates a dancing fish. But since my standee is in it, instead of creating a dancing fish, it just deals 1 damage to that standee.
It's dead.
Summons, when dealt damage to them, they just get removed from the board, which that's good for you.
That is good
Bad
for
for
me.
me.
And you know what? I might as well just do it. I'm going to go just to get a scale on the board. So let's go ahead and put that there.
For the 3rd one.
With the 3rd one. And that's going to go right over there.
All right.
Ugh.
Well,
Yikes.
that is not ideal at all because that means I'm going to be taking a damage. And go
You
ahead and
are.
discard that.
Discard.
So we resolved my green Steel Brush Spirit. Unfortunately, it is still inked, and this is a target zone, as evidenced by that token. So I deal a damage to myself, which
Self-destruction.
is bad. I'm going to flip over, I guess I'll flip over this one.
It doesn't really matter. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So now this is grayed out, which means I am down 1 health.
I'm
What's
1/3
that?
to my victory.
You are.
With no cards.
With no cards,
In
which
my
is
hand.
bad for you, but
That's
good
bad
for
for
me.
me, yeah.
I also want to note,
Okay.
by the way, that this is a prototype, like we were mentioning, and so it is a little bit difficult to tell with specifically the calligrapher's masterpiece which side it's on. In the final version of the game, they're going to have symbols on the masterpiece so that you can easily tell which side it's on.
Right.
Well, that is unfortunate. So this goes back in front of me. But the good thing is I still have my last saving grace.
You do.
My purple Steel Brush Spirit, knowing that Naveen has no cards in his hand, I'm going to play this intention. And
Where are you targeting? Monique?
where's my 1 zone? So I have to exhaust it. And of course, I'm going to target this zone,
Sure.
the zone that you're in.
Yep.
And I'm assuming you're not playing anything.
I can't.
So I'm passing as well. Let's go ahead and
Okay.
resolve this. I am inked. I deal 1 damage here. So Naveen, shall I do this one?
You can just do the one that's off the board.
Oh,
Just keep it
okay.
nice and
Picky.
nice. Yes.
All right. So you
we
are
go.
down 1 health as
am.
well. So the score is even.
Ah.
We've got a one damage each.
Yep.
Maybe this is my sign now to stop playing
I
cards,
think
right?
so. I think so.
Well, no, I will play 1 more card.
Okay.
I'm going to play Sheathing Respite.
Okay.
So, do I have any other stand? No, I've exhausted all of my standees.
Everybody's tired.
So this one lets me ink a standee, and then it'll let me draw cards. So
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and resolve that now, considering you don't have any cards in your hand.
Okay.
I have to ink a stand. Let's see. You have 2
You
on
need,
there.
yeah, if
I
you want
have
to draw
ink
cards,
yours.
yeah, you need to put it up to 3 and then
Yeah.
take them all off.
So I'm inking the dancer,
Yep.
and then I can remove 3 ink to draw 2 cards.
2 cards.
It's going to end my turn, but at least I now have more cards in my hand.
Yeah.
Which, as you can see, is really important in a game like this.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the end of my turn. Let's go ahead and unexhaust all of these standees. And I'm just gonna, we're just gonna keep all of the ink on the front end side
Sure.
from now on,
Okay.
just to make it easier to see.
Yeah.
And then are you doing this corner thing?
Yeah,
With the
kind of.
scales?
Yeah. I think it's just easier from the top down. There we
All
go.
right.
Let's just do that.
There.
That way we can actually see it. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, Naveen, it is now back to you. That was a really violent turn.
Yeah. Man, I couldn't get out of the harm's way of that purple one, so
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
I was going to take a hit. So
You
I
did
had
what
to
you could.
Try to cause some.
I mean,
sort
you
of
removed one of my summons, so that's
havoc.
good.
All right, let's advance the masterpiece.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and take that, and then I think the spot is there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the this is the last spot right there.
Okay. So I need to get this into this spot right there. Is what
Right.
you're saying?
So the thing that's nice is when I advance mine, I get to just put it into place.
Right. So I get to draw a card. We both do.
Yep.
So please. All right.
All right. What are you gonna do?
Okay. This is tough, but I think I think I'm gonna play my dancer.
We're in the heat of it now.
Yeah, I think I'll play my dancer intention. So let's go ahead and do that right there.
Okay.
All right, and then I'm going to play it for the bottom. I progress my masterpiece. I jump 1 space in any direction. And of course, by doing so, we got to get tired. We exhaust myself. There we go.
Okay, so you're gonna do it for the bottom.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna jump 1 space in any direction. Oh boy, that means you're gonna make a fish right here.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is bad. I have a lot of cards in my hand, so I could technically react to this. But the issue is Naveen's dancer jumps. And so if I were to move, say, this figure to be adjacent to Naveen's,
Yep.
and he were to move 1 space in any direction, he would move over
Yes.
my standee. Because he basically moves until he gets to the next available open zone.
Yeah, even though it says jump 1 space, if there was 2 people stacked up, I get to jump all the way over those 2 until I hit a zone that's empty.
Right. And that would allow him to just spit out a bunch of scales.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not going to react.
You say
I'm going
nay.
to pass.
Okay.
Yes. Would you like to?
I will pass also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go
So
for it.
The first thing is I progress my masterpiece. So because we are
Yes.
full, all 5 spaces, I'm going to swap
Ugh.
these 2 like this. So
You
now
monster.
I have completed my masterpiece right
Oh,
there.
man. You're making this so difficult for me.
yeah.
I should have seen that.
So because I have completed that, I ascend.
You ascend.
So when I ascend, I gain those 3 frenzy tokens. I'm going to go ahead and place them with my dancer just so that we know exactly how many I have.
Okay.
Again, this is prototype. This is just something that we've sourced ourselves.
Right.
This is not the final copies.
Those are not the frenzy
tokens. Yeah. So that is that. And then now I
And
am...
then this automatically descends.
Descends, that's
yeah,
right.
That's what it said on the card.
Yeah.
And the masterpiece cards leave
Get
the
wiped.
board. So they still stay in the same flipped orientation because Naveen does not gain a health from that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They just functionally are the same.
Right.
So there you go.
Mhm. And now I'm going to jump 1 space in any direction. I really don't like the fact that these are all inked and then you have all those
My spirits?
reference card spirits. Yeah, so we're gonna leave.
You're leaving.
And because I left this zone, it gets a 3rd scale.
Okay.
Immediately when I get that 3rd scale, they become
A
the
fish.
So we have the blue fish now
Ugh.
in play.
Well, I'm going to get you.
You-
I'm going to get your fish.
Okay. Fishy's coming.
Right.
All right. So that is that one. So this dancer goes back here. They
Yeah.
are exhausted.
Are you going to play any more
They
intentions?
are tired. Yeah, I will. I'm going to play Calling Step.
Okay.
Calling Step says a standee in my row or column jumps 1 space towards me. I then jump 1 space in any direction.
Oh boy. Sounds like you're trying to rid me of my green seal brush spirit, Naveen.
Possibly.
Well, I can't have that, so I'm going to react. I'm going to play Flowing Ink.
Ooh.
And I'm going to choose a direction, and I think I'm going to choose that direction.
Everybody's moving, huh?
Everybody but you and this fish.
Right.
Because those are the only two that are not inked.
Okay.
Are you going to react?
I will not react to that.
All right, let's resolve. I'm not going to react either. So I get to ink any one standee.
Oh, careful.
Do I want to bring this with me? That's the question. So what does yours let you do? It lets you bring a standee towards you.
Towards me.
I'm going to ink my green seal brush spirit.
Okay.
So I'm not going to ink this. These are the only two that are not moving this way.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and move everybody one space, including this fish.
My fish.
All right, that's this. Now it goes to this card.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well,
You have to move a standee in your, was it row or column? So it's got to be this one,
yeah.
right? One space towards you.
Towards me.
Okay, where are you going to jump?
Yeah.
You could jump into place.
Yeah. That's
If
not
you'd
a good
like to
spot.
Be in between my friends.
Gosh. All right. We're gonna move. We're gonna jump here.
Okay.
We're gonna get a scale out.
You're evading really
Not
nicely.
too happy with that.
Okay,
Dang it.
that's it, right?
That's it for that one. Yep.
All right, so go ahead and discard calling stuff. Any other intentions?
Well, I do have my fish that
Right.
can now do things.
It's true.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna go ahead and place the blue dancing fish into there.
All right, pass.
Okay, so I do have to exhaust them, by the way, by doing that.
Oh, that's right, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't pass
Yeah.
just yet.
It says exhaust me, choose a direction. So I'm going to be choosing this direction, going up that way.
Okay.
Okay? That way.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, pass.
Okay, I jump one space in said chosen direction.
Yep.
I do not drop out of scale. Only my main drops out of scale.
Okay.
And then I may spend a frenzy token to deal 1 damage to an adjacent zone.
Okay.
I will spend one of my 3 frenzy tokens to get rid of this.
You did well, my purple
Get rid of
seal
you.
brush spirit.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so now the dancing fish goes back.
Anything else?
I
Naveen?
mean, no, I will hold out.
You're done?
I could technically use the dancing fish, my yellow one, because they're not exhausted.
Yeah?
But I think I want to hold off because I don't want to just go into harm's way just to get hacked.
Okay.
Why would I do that?
I mean, that's up to you.
It's my prerogative.
It is your prerogative.
All right, I'm gonna just do that. Or actually, you know what? I have the frenzy. Let's just do it. Let's
Yeah,
just
I was like,
let's just
what?
wipe this board as much as I can.
This is your opportunity.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You
Oh.
have to play a card.
Yes, dancing fish yellow.
Okay.
I'm gonna choose same direction, going this way.
Uh-huh.
Now they're exhausted. Will you be reacting?
Pass.
Pass.
Yes.
All right, so we're choosing this direction. We're
Okay.
gonna move into it, and I will spend one of my frenzy tokens to just knock this guy out.
Okay.
There we go.
So that's
That means less actions for you. Which
that's
is
way
nice.
less power. I'm not in a good position anymore.
Okay, this one comes off, and then that's gonna be it for my turn. I'm not gonna be doing any more.
All right. So that's that.
Yeah.
Then everybody gets unexhausted.
Exhausted.
How many cards do you have in your hand?
0.
Nice. Okay. Well, you will have one.
I will have one. Yeah.
Okay. So then it goes to me. I
Masterpiece.
feel like I'm in trouble, but also I have the upper hand in this moment. So let's go ahead and progress the masterpiece. And things are kind of in a weird arrangement. So I think I'll put this here because that way I can just move this into that spot and be fine, right?
Right.
All right, go ahead and draw a card.
Draw a card.
And
Okay.
now we begin.
Mhm.
So let's go ahead and do this now. I'm going to play my calligrapher reference card
Okay.
because I would like to progress my masterpiece and ascend as well.
Sure.
So I'm going to go ahead and exhaust this. Are you reacting, Naveen?
I won't react.
Okay, neither will I. I'm going to pass. So I progress my masterpiece. So I'm going to go ahead and place this here because you can swap places with an empty space.
Sure.
Now
You
my
got it.
masterpiece is complete. So I get to ascend,
You ascend.
which makes this really awesome because I
Yeah.
have this new action as a reaction, which turns all of my inked seal brush spirits into bombs. So this is always kind of like a looming threat.
I'm glad I got rid of a bunch of them then because, wow.
Well, I also get to summon a seal brush spirit in an adjacent zone. So let's just, where am I? Oh, I'm all the way over here.
Yeah, you're tucked away.
I guess I'll summon this purple one here.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. All right. So now my choreographer is ascended. These go off the board. Okay.
Will you be playing another intention?
Most definitely,
Okay.
Naveen.
Okay.
I'm going to play Summoning Ink.
Okay.
So that's going to allow me to summon another
An
standee.
ink,
Are you
yeah.
going to react?
No.
All right. I'm going to pass as well. I
Okay.
get to ink any standee, and I think I'm going to ink this purple one.
Yeah.
So now I can summon Steel Brush Spirit, I'm going to summon this yellow one,
Sure.
and it can go adjacent to one that's already inked on the board. So I'm going to go ahead and place it here.
Sure.
All right, so that's this card. This
Very
gets
good.
discarded. Next, I'm going to play my purple Steel Brush Spirit reference card. So I have to exhaust it, and
Okay.
I'm playing it for its bottom ability.
Ah, you want to
So,
hit me.
Yeah, I have to choose the zone. I'm going to choose this zone. Let's get this fish out of here. Naveen, reacting?
I will not react.
Okay, something tells me that maybe he doesn't have a reaction card.
Maybe I
in
don't
his
want to
hand.
react.
Okay, I'm passing.
Let you burn
so
out.
Let's go ahead and resolve this. I am inked, so I get to damage the target zone.
Boom.
You're out of here, Naveen. Get this fish
Fishy
out of the battle zone.
Yellow fish go bye-bye.
Yes, they need to dance somewhere else.
Okay.
So there's
Fair.
that.
Mhm.
I'm going to play another summoning ink. So, Naveen, would you like to react?
No.
Okay, I will pass as well, and it's going to let me ink. I'm going to ink this green standee,
Wow.
and I'm going to summon my last Steel Brush Spirit here.
Okay.
Because it's adjacent to this standee.
Okay.
So
And they
this-
did not have to get exhausted.
They
That's
did not
pretty
have to
good.
get exhausted.
Okay.
Right. And then I think I'm going to play Sheathing Respite.
Wow, so
So
many cards.
this will allow me to remove. Well, hold on. Let me just make sure I didn't want to move things. But I technically have these three, none of which are exhausted.
Mm-mm.
So you know what? I might as well move them. I'm going to play my yellow Steel Brush Spirit. And I'm just going to exhaust it and do it for the top, which is just moving one space. Naveen?
Okay. I will not take an action. I will not
Okay,
react.
you'll
I'll
react?
pass.
I will
I wanna
pass as
see
well.
what you're gonna do.
Moving them over one space.
Very good.
They're now exhausted though. I
There.
might as well do the same for the blue Steel Brush Spirit. Naveen, moving one space.
I also will pass again.
Okay, same.
Let's just let you just set yourself up, and then maybe I'll just like whirlwind.
You're gonna whirlwind?
Maybe.
You heard it here first, folks. Naveen is going to whirlwind.
Maybe.
Well, I moved everybody else. Might as well move the green one as well.
Where are you going, Green?
Moving one space.
You really
Are
get
you-
these out there. No.
No? Okay, I'm passing as well. So that moves
Into the danger zone.
that
I
moves
see.
over, yes, into the danger zone.
Mhm.
And then I think I'm going to finally play my Sheathing Respite. So this is the one that ends my turn, and I can draw 2 cards. Naveen, reaction?
No.
All right, I will pass as well. So I can ink any standee. I think I'll ink this one, I guess, right? I'll ink that yellow one. And then I'm going to remove these 3 inks from this standee
Okay.
to draw 2 cards. I was supposed to exhaust that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to draw 2 cards, and that ends my turn.
Mm.
All right, so then this gets discarded, and all of these get
So you're done.
unexhausted. I'm
Okay,
done.
You were done.
So now it goes to you. Keep in
Enough
mind that I
is enough.
have, I'm ascended. I'm an ascended calligrapher.
Remind me again
So-
what that does.
Each inked Steel Brush Spirit gets to deal 1 damage to all of its adjacent zones.
Mm.
And then I remove them all, and it gets descended. So it's always kind of like a threat that it's there,
Yeah.
but they do have to be inked.
Okay.
So, all right, would you like to progress your masterpiece?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and put the middle in the middle.
This one?
Yeah.
In, so 1, 2, 3
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and draw a card.
Most flexible, I think. All right.
And go for it. What would you like to do?
All right, let's go ahead and use the dancer. I think the dancer is going to get me out of some harm's way. 'Cause I
Okay.
do not like what I see going on over here.
Uh-huh.
Dancer, we're going to drop them in there. I am going to do it for the top intention.
Okay.
I jump 1 space in any direction. I then jump another space in any direction without backtracking.
Okay.
So now they are exhausted.
Okay. Do I want to react? You're going to jump one. You're basically going to jump 1 space twice.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll react. I think this might be a prime time to use my my ascended calligrapher's reaction.
Okay.
So again, this is going to allow all inked Steel Brush Spirits to deal 1 damage to all of its adjacent zones. It's just a big bomb that
All
goes
inked
off.
ones, huh?
They have to be inked. So
This is a one-off, huh?
I do have to exhaust my calligrapher. Yes, this is a one-off. It'll become descended after I use it. So it's kind of, timing is very important. So we'll see.
Ooh.
We'll see what happens.
Interesting.
Are you going to react?
I won't react.
No?
Let me see what you're going to do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to play Flowing Ink.
Okay.
So this requires me to choose a direction. Again, this is the one that moves all inked standees, 1 space in that direction. I'm going to choose this way,
Okay.
that way. So I'm going to place it right there, just to really, really nail that in.
Interesting.
Are you going to react? There are only 2 more spots left.
All right. I'm not going to react.
Do you not have reaction cards in your hand? I think I don't need to play a reaction card. I think I can just pass, right?
Yeah.
So pass. So let's resolve this chain.
Yeah.
So this lets me ink any standee. So I'm going to ink this one. And then all ink standees move one space that way. So it's going to be this one, my calligrapher, and this seal brush spirit. So that's flowing ink. And now for the grand ascended ability.
So bad.
The calligrapher ascended. Let's just read this whole thing. Each inked seal brush spirit deals 1 damage to all of its adjacent zones. This does not damage your own standees, of course. Then remove all inked seal brush spirits and descend me. So that means these two are going to deal damage to this zone at the same time.
Yeah.
That's boom, boom. That is 1 and 2.
Nothing I could do about that.
That's game.
I had pivoting step, but had I put it in the front of the chain, nobody was there to spin into.
Right.
So that's the only reaction I had. Nice.
It does require.
It requires
adjacency.
Yeah. So. And I was trying to jump. What I was really gonna do, had you not done this, I was gonna try to jump away. From all this disaster that was going to happen over here.
So that's part of the reason why I really needed to play this now, because I had a feeling you were going to go away. The thing about the calligrapher is my cards are very slow moving. We can only move at most 1 space.
Right.
And the calligrapher doesn't even have a card that lets it just move on its own. I have to ink it and then play the flowing ink to move all inked standees.
Right.
But I don't even have a choice as to which standees to move.
Yeah.
So you have to be very cautious about which standees to ink.
Yeah, you were able to get them out. Like if I wiped out 3 in a turn, in the very next turn, they were right back in play.
It is one of my intention cards.
One of your intention
One
cards,
intention card just puts them out. And my calligrapher will always allow me to put out 1 seal brush spirit if I use it for that side.
Right.
So that's kind of the way that the two entrants that we use, that's kind of how they balance. So one is really slow moving, but very kind of strategic in the way that you place your inks, while the dancer can just kind of move everywhere around the board, and they want to ascend as quickly as possible.
I really wanted you to get this one here so that I could use my blue fish to move in and then hit with my frenzy. That would have been 1 damage, and you're on a 2 scale, so I was going to try to figure out a way to get into the scale there. The problem is, had I jumped away here, it's so hard to get a scale out there with this, so I would have had to figure out another way.
Right. And
Nice.
that's a big part of the game is that hand management. So if you can see your opponent kind of going down in cards, I knew that at the end of my last turn, you only had 1 card left in your hand or something like that.
I had a reaction card. I just couldn't play it.
You just couldn't play it. So I knew that the chances of you drawing that 1 card into a reaction card that would have been helpful in that situation was kind of slim.
Yeah.
So it's all about timing. The more you play this game, the faster you'll get at it. Clearly, we're not that fast.
A little slow,
You can do this. You can play this game like 15 minutes. So it really is just about building up and then playing cards at the right time to deal the final blows at once,
that's
right?
It, yeah.
So anyway, that is React. Like we were mentioning at the beginning of the video, the game is going to come with 8 different characters that are all asymmetric, and not all of them play with a deck of cards. It just so happens that the 2 artists that we're playing with today do utilize cards. Our prototype also came with the Painter, which utilizes a dice pool, which is completely different from having to manage a hand of cards, as well as the Tagger, which comes with 3 power murals that you kind of plant on a zone, and as soon as a standee steps into that zone, then that mural's effect gets triggered. So it does require some planning and a very different play style from what you saw today.
Now, for more information about the campaign and the other characters that we have not spoken about, there is a link in the description down below. The Kickstarter is set to go live on November 29th, which will be tomorrow. And if you have any questions about anything that you saw here, feel free to leave them in the comments, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. And thank you all so much again for watching the video. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to see more like this in the future, please consider subscribing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.